Hi everyone, it's Niamh here and welcome to my art journaling channel. Today we're going to be playing with the new Dina Wakley Release for Creativation 2020, and we're going to be making a gel printed galaxy background. And we're going to be using the new gloss acrylic sprays from the Dina Wakley range, which will be releasing by the end of January, I hope. So at the moment all I'm doing is I've got my large gel plate out. You can see it's slightly dirty. And I'm just flicking on the acrylic gloss sprays, just opening it up and actually flicking them from the little stemmy thing, I'm sure there's a correct term for that, straight onto my gel plate. Now this technique does actually take me 2 days to do. For those people who follow my channel regularly, I tend to work all in one. I don't tend to stop and have a break, but I did actually leave this overnight to completely dry. So you can use your heat tool on your gel plate up to a point. It's probably not recommended. I do, and I haven't damaged one yet. But because I had so much of the acrylic spray on my gel plate, I actually wanted to leave it to dry properly because I wanted all those little dents and dimples, and particularly to do the next step that I'm doing in this. I didn't want to have any of my acrylic little droplets not be dry and move. So if you have got the time to do it, I'd certainly say do one of these, or do a few. If you've got a few different gel plates, sprinkle it all on, leave it to dry overnight, and then come back the next day. So what we're making is a galaxy type background, and this is inspired by an idea I saw on Instagram, I think by Bridget Coopson or by Giglio Craft, who demonstrates, both of them demonstrate for gel press, no? Jelly arts. Sorry, jelly arts. Got that wrong. I'll leave the links to their things below anyway. But if you check out their either Instagram or their YouTube channel, you will find sort of links to where they've done something similar to this. So all I'm doing is I'm going in with some pale Dina Wakley acrylic. So I'm using carnation, lavender. Is it lavender? Wisteria. I can't find it in my thing. Eggplant, blackberry, and I've got a little bit of the ancient, I think, gold, and some white. So I'm just sort of playing around, making a sort of night sky, I suppose, with northern lights or southern lights, sort of the aurora in the background. So this is something that takes a little bit of practice. I have to admit, I was probably a little bit heavy-handed with my paint. It probably needed to be a little bit lighter than this than I ended up doing. I really liked how it turned out in the end, but if I did it again, I'd probably put in a little bit less paint. So it is a bit of trial and error. Try what you like. And again, I sort of use pink purpley colours. You could always use greens and blues and so on to change it up, or you could just do all metallic colours. I did dry off that paint on my gel plate and use my gel plate to do that. And now I'm just going into the new blue journal and sticking the gel plate into my journal. I'm sure there's a better way of doing this than trying to lift it up and put it on. It is a little bit floppy and a little bit difficult to sort of pull up and press down. But if you're a bit more coordinated, you might be able to press your journal into it. Again with this, I left this to dry for an hour and two. I didn't pull it off straight away because you want the wet paint on the background to actually dry to your surface and dry to the other acrylic paint that's already dried. It sort of acts like a glue and glues it down to your page. But when I pulled it off, I was really, really pleased with the result. It was a little bit too light in some areas, so I actually got the night gloss spray again and just lightly spritzed over it to bring a little bit of the dark back in again. And you can see all those little colourful flecks all the way through it. So it ended up being I was really, really pleased with how it ended up. So I'm working in the new blue journal, and I put this onto one of the cotton rag pages. You can see beforehand it's a page that I've been sort of scraping extra paint off and so on. I knew this was going to cover the entire page, so I didn't mind that I got rid of what was in the background. It's totally up to you how you chose to use it. So now I've decided to use one of Dina's stencils. I love these scribbly little faces because they're so expressive, and I thought that it tied in really nicely with the sort of galaxy background that I had already. So I'm using some of the white paint, or you could use white gesso, and just lightly sponging through, using an up and down motion, holding my stencil as still as possible, just to get it into all the little nooks and crannies. This is quite a fine stencil. It comes up really well. I've never had an issue with it, but you don't want it to move too much because you may have paint leak out underneath. So just be careful when you're doing it. You can see here I never actually cleaned my stencils, and it hasn't been an issue yet, but obviously if you like to clean your stencils, that would be a good idea too, and it'd probably give you a better impression. So you can see that the white is really stark against that beautiful background. I like to ground this image. You can see the bottoms of the neck and the shoulders of the figures, so I wanted to make sure that they extend to the bottom, and I also extend the hairline up to the top, just so the figures aren't floating in mid-air. It gives it a little bit more realism, I suppose. Because I love the background and the background was so busy, I really didn't want to do too much to this page. So all I actually end up doing after I've dried it off is to put in a quote. And I knew I wanted it to be a quote about the universe. So I ended up with, I am a child. I think I am a child of the universe. I'm not sure. I should have my journal out in front of me when I do this, really. I'm just using a Posca paint pen. This is not the finest paint pen. It's a little bit thicker than usual. And you can see it's fairly opaque, and I did prime before I wrote on the page, but I go back over and do a second coat, and I find that's a really handy tip. If you are finding things aren't quite as opaque as you want, just go back over and do a second coat, and usually the first coat blocks out enough that you can get a good second coat. So you've got that stark white contrast to that really busy background, and that's basically all this journal page was. It was really simple to do. If anyone has got some helpful tips about how to maneuver the large Ranger gel plate into your journal without getting your ink everywhere. I know on smaller blocks you can stick them to acrylic blocks. I've lost the plastic that comes with it, so I can't use that as a handle. Thank you for those people who suggested that one before as well. I could press it onto the top, but I actually wanted the gel plate sitting down to give a bit more of a connection to the page. So I am looking for any helpful suggestions. That would be great. I loved how the gloss acrylic sprays worked on this though, and they worked really well with the gel plate. So that's certainly, if you get your hands on these beauties, something to have a play with. It's not going to ruin your gel plate, so have a go at them and have lots of fun. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please like and subscribe, and head to the Creativation 2020 playlist as well to see more of the videos. Until next time, bye for now.